I don't know what happened. It said my video couldn't continue. It's crazy. My apologies, but I don't know what happened. But in this area, you drive, man, you drop everything. You will lose everything, you know. Driving, the internet and all that drops. Why? I have absolutely no idea. But it will drop, okay? It's the truth, God. Philly is tripping, you know? But my point of reference is and relevance is that how can you think like that? I wouldn't dare call any, and I mean any, minister of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad a hypocrite. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. They paved the way for me. I'm going to tell you something. I absolutely love Brother Minister Farrakhan. I think he's the sharpest that has moved out. I think he's the sharpest. And I love Brother Minister. I love CEO Silas. I love him too. I love them all. I don't have an issue. But I just think that it's highly immature. And it makes you, instead of following the characteristics of an FOI, which is being a respectful individual, your own dislike, your own anger, your own pain causes you to act against the very thing that you stand for. It make you act against it. Peace, God. It make you act against it. Being in the ranks and studying the teachers thoroughly for 30-something years, I'm not going to have the same view that you have that might have been only in the teachings 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years. I should have a different perspective. I should be more mature in my understanding and my teaching of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I should not still be teaching in the baby format, even though there is room for that for those that are grabbing the basics of the teachings and individuals in the basic manners of those individuals that have that type of reality. Everybody ain't built for going into the higher sciences and spirituality and all. They're not doing that. And I understand that. And the foundational form stands for. Of course, I don't agree with everything Brother Minister Farrakhan teaches. If you agree with everything that anybody teaches, then you're not thinking for yourself. I don't agree with everything my mother said. I don't agree with everything my father said. I don't agree with everything my wife said. How can I not look at anything and not critique it? This is God's body. How do you get to know something and understand deeply what something means if you don't take it apart? There is nobody beyond inspection. That's even the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We research and study everything. That's what God do. We approve ourselves by refining and developing ourselves by study. But I think that it's childish getting online in front of 50 million people on Facebook and talking about other believers and ministers who then gave their lives for us. I think it's childish. I think it's ignorant. Why do you think that all the stuff that I know about certain men that's in number 12, that if I spoke will put some people in some very bad light in front of everyone. I don't speak about them in that sense though. And the reason why, because even they have a purpose. If what they teach can bring you to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then they have done their job. That's all that matters. If you don't like the way that somebody taught something, then teach it better. Then teach it better. But armchair soldiers that's sitting down typing on internets, you don't stand that line to be able to sit and talk about people who has a long track record of warring for the people. You don't have that. You don't have that. You can disagree. You can even talk. You can do all of that, but it's got to be respectful. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that he Muslim respects all people and he demands respect from all people. That's what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. You won't see the Muslim calling up there telling somebody you's a nigger, and because you don't talk like me, you're a hypocrite, and nigga, get off my post. That's not how FOI talk. And definitely not to other FOI. You and I could disagree. The reality is that you and I both could be right. It is nothing for me to be angry at you. Why would I be angry at you? Why would you be angry at me? That's why I told a brother one day I was teaching, I said, I wish I could take every black man and put him in prison for a year. 1 year. And we will see then how you see things when it's over. Because all of this disunity, oh, that nigga ain't teach the way I taught because he introduced them to Scientology. I don't agree with what he did on that. I think he set up the stage for that. Of course I believe that. However, I also know the backdrop to that. And I also know that there are brothers that went into Dianetics that didn't become Scientologists and don't like Scientology. I know that too. And I know what Minister Farrakhan taught regarding the issue. So since I know what he taught regarding the issue, when other people misrepresent certain things to the public, of course he would take the brunt of that as if he done told these individuals do A, B, and C when he did not. Me personally, I believe that things get tested and experimented on. And within them experimentations, we see what the worth is of it. And then when we see what the worth is of it, we say, oh, that didn't look too good. That didn't. So you don't hear the minister over the rostrum talking about Scientology anymore. You don't hear him talk about L. Ron Hubbard anymore. Men test. It happens. That don't make them a hypocrite to me, though, because they tested. He teaches the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If you can't see it, it's because you're not thoroughly studied in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We are taught that we take the best part for ourselves. We leave the poor part. We don't need to keep dwelling on the poor part. Just build on the best part for what you feel is in accordance with that truth. That's it. That's it. Just take the best part. But you can't throw a baby out with the bathwater. Because, oh man, he taught, listen man, Minister Farrakhan didn't mean for followers to be spooked out and Christianed out, those that became that. He didn't mean that. If they studied like he told us to in the mid-90s when he taught us, he said, no matter what I do, he said, there are some things that I have to do that you will not understand. He said, but whatever you do, study the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you cannot go wrong. So those who studied the teachings of the messenger, those who studied their lessons didn't get caught up. As the minister taught us, I am a test for you. Whether he intentionally creates the test or not, He is the test, and he presents a test for you. And for those who are genuine, they will manifest. Those who are not will be strayed left to the side. This is how the game works. Even with Brother Minister, CEO Silas Muhammad. CEO Silas Muhammad teaches, allow for the brothers to drink, the sisters to drink. They use one part from out of How to Eat to Live regarding that. Now, Silas knows better because he know that if you're a registered Muslim, he know for a fact that the restrictive laws is our success. So he knows that it is a violation of the restrictive laws as given by Master Fard Muhammad. What is the test? I'll tell you what the test is. Whether he knows it or not, he has set up the test. Because if the followers got the restrictive laws, then who is more superior? Is Silas Muhammad's interpretation? Is whether the messenger giving leniency to the public? Or is what Master Fard Muhammad stated law? Which one is it? Because there is nobody who came through them 40s, the 30s, the 60s, and the early 70s that will ever say the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad allowed you to drink anything of alcohol in any form. So what's the test? So to me, he's not a hypocrite, but you may be. To me, it ain't Minister Farrakhan that's the hypocrite. You may be, though. Because if you go and drink as the justification, you have the very thing that I have. So if you do it because you want to do it. It ain't because you don't know any better. Because it's throughout our teachings what not to do. So if Minister Farrakhan got you into this and he does this, and he might tell you to study this, and he might tell you to study that, and you go and walk all the way over to certain things, you get caught up and become Christianized. That's your thing. I study. I'm not a Christianized. I don't do any of that. I studied Dianetics for years, and I'm not a Scientologist. This is a fact. I'm not a Scientologist. I don't give a fuck, fuck about an L. Ron Hubbard. I could care less. I don't care nothing about the people started medical to go to gone, the Rosicrucians, or none of them. The supreme wisdom is my divinity. That's the reality. But once you get it as your foundation, you should be able to go into anything. Man is God. You should be able to go into anything. Let me tell you a story. Way before Minister Farrakhan told the brothers and sisters that don't study Scientology, study Dianetics, whatever he said. Me and my wife walked into the Scientology church here. I was going to join them. See, me, I'm experiential, meaning I don't need to stay in my corner of the world. I'm very secure and very studied in knowing the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So everywhere I go is the supreme wisdom. I see it in everything. And I see nothing superior because the supreme wisdom is everything. And when you got that, it don't matter where you go. I go in a church. I might clap because they singing church hymns. I might listen to the gospel in the morning. That don't make me Christian. I know who the supreme Allah is. I know I'm Allah. I know who the messenger is. But I don't need to be afraid to study because that's what it sounds like to me. You got to stick to your side of the corner. I don't need to. All corners is my corner. We the supreme gods. So therefore, when we walked inside of the church, I asked the lady. I said to her, so what do you do? I said, do you study? Do you do meditation? Do you do all that? She said to me, no, we do auditing. Now, I'm very familiar with what they do. But I asked the question to see her explanation. And when I asked the question, I looked at her when she said it and I said, anything that gets you to look outside of yourself as the answer cannot be the truth. I then looked in the back room, and they had a cross with the rose on it. Me, being initiated into the Rosicrucians, I looked at it and I knew automatically what it meant, and I said, that's the Rosicrucians. And I looked at it in her face, and they slammed the back door. So me, I was going to go in to learn what they had. It don't make me believe what they believe, but it also don't mean that I can't delve into what they have. I could speak that language so well of Dianetics, you would have thought I've been in Scientology for 100 years. But I could take that language and tie it all into the messenger teachings and teach the messenger raw, right, and exact. And it still be him. And you will never know it. That is what you're supposed to be able to do. You're not supposed to be able to get into certain things. Excuse me. You're not supposed to be able to get into certain things and then lose yourself in your identity. How the hell you go study Dianetics and become an all-out Scientologist? And all of you more proficient in knowing L. Ron Hubbard than you proficient in knowing what the ministers say and what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach. You can cite an entire grid of Scientology, but can't cite a lesson. The minister know what goes on, so he checks you. He done checked you 1,000 times. This happens in all ranks and files. None are the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. None. So I don't look for them to match him. I look for them at how proficient they are in performing their duty and their role in the prophetical revelation of the upliftment of black people. Study and approve yourself unto God. That is what they're there for. The minister cleans you up. He reintroduces you to the movement, the grid, the teaching. He introduces you to the works, the dress. He reestablishes the temples. This is what ministers do. But then they introduce you by that into the messenger. It is up to you to study. It's up to you to read the books. It's up to you to study the lessons. They give you understanding of what they may teach. And then by that, you begin to seize the Savior. And then by studying Master Fard Muhammad, you begin to learn yourself. If in any time this does not happen, then your minister is an impediment to your development. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches an impediment to your development. And Master Fard Muhammad has become an impediment to your development. This is just a fact. So I just wanted to get on here this morning and just discuss on a very real level, man. And I'm going to say this and put this there. You don't know the relevance of the teachers that stand before us because you have never had an existence where they have not been. When I look at this thing here, I know that one day Minister Farrakhan won't be here. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never lived in a world from where I can remember that Minister Farrakhan has not been in existence. So I've fed from the God for years. I accept what I feel is the best part, and I leave what I consider to be the poor part. But if it has wisdom, I still take it. But I'm studied enough to know, all right, this the movie made, It may have wisdom in it, but it's not necessarily what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. So I'm going to leave that part right there. I'm wise enough to look at Silas and study what he taught and say, all right, I see all of that, but now that I'm bringing it through the strainer of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the filter, I will remove the debris for which I consider to be debris of what I consider to be the bad part, and I will take the best part. If I look at Father Allah and I read and I hear things that the God has said, I draft it through the teachings of the messenger, and then I use that filter to remove the debris of what I consider to be the bad part, and I keep what I consider to be the best part. And I do that with all of the elders. Once a month, I go through everyone I can find. I listen to everything Silas said. I go through everything Brother Minister Farrakhan said. I go through everything that Basir, that I can find the videos of him. I go through everything that Supreme Minister John Muhammad said. Emmanuel Muhammad. I do all of that because I'm always attaining to be a better student of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And because I'm a historian and archivist of the teachings, I love that more than almost anything. So what I'm saying is, stop judging your brothers and your sisters. Judge yourself. And whatever character you may not like in them, then they're just the mirror in your life. In order for you to make sure that you smite and destroy that characteristic that you may have in yourself. So if in one accord, they don't teach something that you don't think should be taught, all right, brother, you have an opportunity to teach your family. You have opportunity to teach brothers and sisters around you. If you think that there's a form of hypocrisy in something, I think all of us, if we were to look at each other in a very shrewd way in ourselves, we can see forms of hypocrisy in ourselves. It just depends on who's looking at it, who will base the judgment. So all I'm saying is, study yourself, apply the teachings to your life. They're not to be applied to judge others. Judge them to your life. And your actions and your ways, make sure that it's righteous. You understand? Because we cannot weigh other than ourselves. That means pluck the smite from out of your own heart. And be what these lessons are to develop you to be. So that when in the end, your final assignment is graded before Allah, you pass your examination. With that, I close. Assalamu alaikum to the Muslim gods. Peace to the gods. And salam Allah to the supreme angels.